Hello, so this week's skill challenge, just to build on some of our movement skills. So we're going to look at doing hopping and jumping and working on them. Okie doke. So don't think it's going to end, so I'm just going to chop my head off a wee bit. I'm going to move the camera just down a wee bit so you can see my feet, because that's the important thing. So there we go, you can see my feet, don't worry about my head. Right, so what we're looking to do, we're going to look to do some jumping to begin with. Now, you could do this with a chair or a fence or something that you can put your hands onto. So I'm going to use my wall here. So I've got my hands on the wall, okay, and what I'm going to practice to begin with is going up onto my toes, okay, up onto my toes, and I'm using the wall to keep my balance, up onto my toes. Then as we get better, we can start to do a little jump. So we're going up onto our toes and I'm trying to do a little jump. Okay, so we're just working on that. Yeah, and that way we can do it. Okay, now if we're doing hopping, we just do it on one foot, same thing. Just lift one foot up. Now that alone might be tricky for some people, but we practice that. Then up onto our toes and back down. Up onto our toes, and as we get better, we can try and just push up a wee bit. Don't worry if all the weight's going onto our hands, that's okay, because we'll get used to that, just coming off the ground and back down again. Okie doke, so that's where we kind of start from. If we're getting better, try and stand upright and just hands against the wall at this point. So maybe just using my fingers up onto my toes again, and then I can try and just come up off the ground a little bit. So I'm practicing jumping. Okay, next step from that is come away from the wall, but they can have that little assurance on a chair just beside. One hand there, up onto toes again, going through all the same steps, up onto toes, then a little bit quicker, and then trying to do a little bit of a jump, and we're getting up and doing a little bit of a jump. Okie doke, and that's what we want to be trying to get to. Then after that we can do the same thing and go side on, so we can see up onto our toes, up, and then a little bit of a push to get up. And that's really what, because when we do big jumps, we just bend our knees. We're still doing the same thing. We bend, come out onto our toes and jump. So it's then trying to get that jump. So again, go back to the wall, go back to your chair, and then practice bend the knees and push and jump. Bend the knees, push and jump. Okay, but we want to go through that process, starting off going up onto our toes, then go to bend knees and push. Bend knees, and you can see when I go into the air, if I slow it down, you can see that my toes are pointing down. That's because I've pushed off. Okie doke. Again, side on, chair or there. Should say if you want to do, if you've not got a wall or something like that, you can do two chairs, one either side, and then just up onto toes and back down again. Okay. As we get better at that, we can start to do. I'll use a brush here, just something that we can jump over. Now, we're going to practice jumping in different directions. So one of the jumps that we can do is going to the side, because we can start to even go 1, 2, 1, 2 over the brush. Okay, or we can turn to go forward. This one, try not to go 1, 2 forward, and the reason for that is because it doesn't transfer into being a jump, it just becomes a faster step. So what we want to try and do is both feet down and up onto toes, and then up, and we're going forward. And with this one, encourage a wee bit of a lean forward, and that push and the lean forward will transfer forward. As we get better from that, and we can do that with hopping as well. Okay, we can practice trying to hop over something. Now, maybe suggest to begin with that it's just a line or a bit of paper on the ground that we do. Then you can see from my path, there's lots of little designs, and maybe whoever's working with you, maybe hopscotch is a good way to do it. So we're doing hopping on one foot, then onto two, then onto the other foot, and then back to two. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then we can practice going forwards, backwards and sideways with all of them. So really a lot to take in, and it's really worth trying to practice that every day, because it is a skill that's quite good. Because if you come to doing football, you want to be on one foot, and that's hopping, and we're going on to athletics soon, so we want to be doing running and jumping, and that's part of it as well. Okay, so make sure you're practicing lots, practice on both feet, practice jumping backwards, jumping to the side, jumping forward. okie doke, and everything will come together if you keep working on it. Right, well, that's the skills session over with. Enjoy practicing all that, and I'll see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye.